What is up, Breaking Bad fans? Kino here, and we are back with another Breaking Bad log. Today we're looking at the second episode of the fourth season, 38 Snub. Now, the episode opens with Walt buying a gun from an arms dealer named Lawson. Lawson suggested he go with a 38 snub-nosed revolver for stealth. Walt is extremely inexperienced with a gun, and against his judgment, Lawson advises that Walt may want to buy a legal gun instead of risking getting caught with an illegal one, if his intentions are solely for self-defense. However, Walt still buys the gun, as despite his claims about self-defense, he knows that he's going to go after Gus himself. After the credits, Mike gets some coffee. He notices some of Victor's dried blood on his sleeve. He wipes it off, but is still clearly disturbed by what happened to him. Meanwhile, Jesse buys a new top-of-the-line sound system. When Badger and Skinny Pete come over, they end up relapsing despite being in recovery. Jesse doesn't want to think about Gale and needs a distraction. He ends up having a big party at his house in order to keep himself distracted. Meanwhile, Hank is continuing with his physical therapy. Though he's making progress physically, he's emotionally cold and distant with Marie. Again, this is due to the frustration he feels from being vulnerable and weak. Just like how Walt often took out his personal frustrations on Jesse, we see Hank doing the same with Marie. Back at home, Walt is becoming increasingly anxious and paranoid as he prepares to shoot Gus. He ends up yelling at Skylar for talking about the car wash on the phone, which really is nothing. Later at the lab, there's a new guy to replace Victor named Tyrus. Mike is there as well, and when asked about Gus, he says that Walt will never see him again. Meanwhile, Skylar scopes out the car wash, taking close notes about how much business they do. She uses this information in order to make a very accurate offer to buy the business from Bogdan, the current owner. However, he knows who she is, and because she's Walt's wife, he demands $20 million because of Walt's previous behavior.
What? I said fuck you! And your eyebrows! Wipe down this!
Meanwhile, Jesse keeps the party going at his house for days, again because he does not want to be alone. Eventually, Andrea shows up wondering where Jesse's been. She knows that Jesse was involved in the death of her brother's killers, and also knows that he sent her a bunch of money. Jesse says that it's hers to do with what she wants, but he hopes she'll use it for Brock, instead of using it to get high. Later that night, Walt tries to approach Gus's house. However, he gets a call from Tyrus, who has eyes on him and warns him to go home. He then tries to approach Mike at a bar, trying to win him over onto his side. He says that even Mike isn't safe from Gus, and asks for his help in killing him. Mike, however, sees through Walt's bullshit, and since he's the one responsible for all this conflict, he ends up beating him down in the bar. Back at Jesse's house, the party finally winds down after a number of days. His friends are tired from partying for so long and say that they need to go home. Jesse, finally alone with his thoughts and his guilt, plays loud music in order to drown it out as the episode ends. As I mentioned in my webisodes video, in the bar, you can see an advertisement for Saul's class action lawsuit against the airlines for the Wayfarer 515 crash from Season 2. The pizza the Badger buys in this episode is from Venezia's Pizzeria, the same one that Walt threw onto the roof of the house. The dialogue about how they don't slice the pizza was created in order to lampshade why the pizza Walt threw wasn't sliced, which would have ruined the perfect way it landed on the roof. The guy who tells Pinkman he knows how to party is the same guy who recognized him in Season 2. Finally, when Jesse tells everyone to wake up and party, the guy who sits up is actually Bryan Cranston in a wig. And that's pretty much everything I had to say about the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode Coming soon. Go home, patrons. Russell, Sean, Heart of Markness, Logan, Clean, John Reyna, Jesse Sterling, Andrew Stewart, Obscracing Media, Daz J. Kit, Conan Higgins, Sam Cedarlin, Don Lucania, Celery Man, Jenna Marie Johnson, and Brad Smith Studios.